Alright, welcome to another Paladin tips and guides video, I guess. There's been a bunch of people asking here and there on and off, in whispers as well, how do you get gear as a Paladin? So I'm gonna give you tips on what you should do to best advance in the game, and how to gear up for, let's say, the future, for whatever spec you want to do in the future. I always recommend two paths to gearing. The first path is you try to get full biz holy gear, and then you go and spam GDKPs, and you basically save up enough gold and just straight out buy like the ret or reckoning gear that you want from like Nax and whatever. That is the best way to get gear, but it's also the one that takes the longest time. I would give you approximately maybe a year and a half, depending on your RNG, before you save up enough gold. First of all, you need to build out your holy spec. It takes a long time to get really good holy, and it's every week. You might have to have a second account and do GDKPs on the DPS as well, and try to save up as much gold as possible and just get it all. And most of the pieces are very expensive depending on the spec, because you're basically you're forced to gear out both a holy spec first, and then you gear out like your DPS PvP spec. That's the number one way to get, like, if you just want to straight up get your gear, that's one way of doing it. The second way is semi-casual, and it's a bit more enjoyable, and that is you get a semi-decent Shockadin tier 2 spec, and you just spam PvP to rank 14, and when you get rank 14 you do a few small raids and get a few pieces on and off here, and you basically roll just a simple PvP gear deep ret. You could do reckoning with it as well, but you can run like a deep ret build and have decent fun in PvP as well. And I think still that's the best thing you should do first, because even if you wanna get like the full best in slot reckoning gear, you still need rank 13 at least to get the free off pieces, you know, because if you see here, you want free of, where are they? Here, you want the Field Marshal free piece bonus for the stamina and the reduction to your Hammer of Justice. So you still need to get rank at least 12 or 13 depending on which pieces you want, but it's a good recommendation. I'd say always start out with Shockadin, and then you go rank 14, and then you can like start doing the holy and farming the pieces you need or miss. In the end, like, gearing as a paladin is a commitment, and it takes a long time. Unless you just want to mess around in like tier 2 just for the lols, to be one of the cool kids, you know. I'm gonna show you the beginner build, which is here. When you absolutely start out, you have these two options. This is the more optimal one for stats. So all of this is really easy to get. This is Onyxia, Molten Core. I think this is ranked like 10 or 11 PvP gear. It's 2 pieces. The shoulder and pants. This is from Blackwing Lair. Blackwing Lair, everything more or less is from Blackwing Lair. And then you have a reputation ring, and then you have what's it called? You have a ZG trinket. So more or less all of this is very easy to get from the easy raids and simple PvP. And basically the way you play this is you play in a stalling way where you whittle down your opponent to like half HP, and then you have one button. For me it's my number 2, which does you can modify it however you want, but it does basically all of this in one button. You do this instantly, and suddenly, boom, you do a minimum of, I think it's 2,400 damage if you have a sapper in your inventory. Without the sapper, it's usually around 2,000 damage. But if you're lucky and you get crits, you can do up to like 4,000 damage. So it's pretty impressive. It's good damage considering the gear you have, since it's just you know, it's just tier 1, no, not tier 1, it's tier 2 and blue PvP gear. My version is a little bit better. I'm gonna talk about weapons in a moment, but first I want to just show you this. So in the beginning you don't get shard, so you have to replace it with something else. You can go with insignia, but I think Gnomish Deathray is absolutely amazing. You can use one of those sleep sands, or you can use the goblin helmet, you know, and then while they're CC'd, you swap back to your judgment helmet, and you do Gnomish Deathray, and then you do a CC, and you do the combo, and you do a whole bunch of damage. Lokamir is very good. I think out of all these pieces, the hardest piece to get will be Lokamir, because it's pretty contested in Blackwing Lair. Another piece that's can be hard to get is the Judgment Crown, because it's the lowest, what's it called? It has the lowest drop table of all the helmets in Onyxia, so it might take a while to get it. But again, it's just Onyxia, you know. And the Libram of Fever is the best early game Libram you can use, since you want the damage. And again, you can just, if you don't want the PvP gear, you can just go straight into like full tier 2. The difference is basically 20-ish. What is it? It's about 25 to 30 spell power, because the pants give more spell power than the judgment ones. However, if you go full judgment, you get like that extra little 8 piece bonus, where every time you judge, you do a little bonus damage. It's like a fiery enchant that crits more or less every time you judge. So it's nice bonus DPS. But yeah, this is the easiest gear to get for PvP. Once you have one of these versions, you can go and do battlegrounds and be useful. And you can do world PvP and win a good amount of matchups. It's still a bit of a struggling build. The biggest downside of this build is the HP pool. I mean, even in game, you can see my HP is without the buff. It's not even 2,300. You could get more. I don't have pants enchant. I've just been playing this for a day or two just to get you guys some clips. But this is these are the two builds I'd say you should go. And then you have the talents. There are different variations, but there are two standard ones. These are the two most common Shockadin builds. So this one is a more duelist-centered utility version. Well, this one is if you want to use a two-hander, because you can use a two-handed weapon while playing as Shockadin. It's not always as good, but you do want to swap to a two-hander if you're fighting a caster, because you don't want to sit on a one-hander most of the time. But yeah, these are the two builds I'd recommend. Mine in game is like this right now. I put a little bit here because I want to do AoE grinding as well. I wanted to test that out, but it's not that great. But let's talk about weapons, because the fun thing about Shockadin is the insane utility of weapons you can use, and boy oh boy, there are a bunch of things that probably many people don't know about. So I'm gonna talk a bit about very good weapons you can use that aren't super well known about. Starting with Hand of Edward, this more commonly known weapon. Every time you strike someone, you get a chance to get an instant heal. And this is the best weapon to use against, for instance, rogues. Because once you get out of their CC and you start flailing at them a little bit, you might get that instant crit, and you can use Seal of Righteousness. You prefer to use Seal of Righteousness because having Seal of Righteousness on, like the passive hit, it counts as an extra magical melee strike, so it doubles the chance to get the proc. So you basically just put on Seal of Righteousness and wham away, and you just wait for the procs and insta-heal yourself over and over again. So it's good against rogues, it's decent against warriors. And those are the two I would recommend using that for. Next up we have Zulian Slicer, which is insanely amazing if you get the proc. Again, you want to put on Seal of Righteousness and just wail away. People might look at this and be like, why would I care about 72 damage? And the thing is, it scales with spell power 100%. So add that 72 to 96 damage on top of your spell power. So you see here, I have holy damage for 29, and then you add, say, 72 to that. I have practically 500 damage every time it procs. And it can crit as well, and it can proc twice per auto. Since Seal of Righteousness counts as an extra auto, it can proc 2 times. So you can suddenly, hypothetically, if you're lucky, you can do 2000 damage in 1 auto from nowhere. And that actually did happen to me once long ago. Very, very long ago that happened. I remember I was fighting a warlock, and I did 1 auto, and suddenly half his HP was gone. And I was like, what the fuck? So yeah, it's incredibly amazing. And if you pop your hero charm and you use a flask, and like you say, you get up to 600, and then with flask you have 700, and if you pop your wizard oil you get like 800, and then if you get a lucky 960 chance, you can get up to like almost 1000 white magical damage from the Zulian Slicer. This weapon is the best when you fight shaman, warrior, hunter, anything melee. You want to put on the Slicer and have as much spell power as humanly possible. Lastly, we have Flame Wrath. Again, it has a thing where every time you attack a target, it's not when you get attacked, every time you attack the target, you have a chance of getting a reflect that has a 100% spell power scaling. Again, if you have like 500-600 spell power and it procs, you do like 800 damage or something like that. This is more a PvE weapon, but you can use it in PvP as well. It's very good for Shockadins. Again, you put on Seal of Righteousness, wham away, hope you get procs, and then when it procs, you switch weapon to your spell power weapon, because the buff stays. You only use the Flame Wrath until you get the buff, and then you swap it away to your spell power damage. So yeah, that's pretty impressive and nice. That's it for the main weapons. The offhanders, you always go Skull Flame Shield, no matter what. No matter what you do, Skull Flame Shield is amazing. The life steal scales with your melee crit, but it can't really crit, so I don't even know why I looked that up. However, its school is shadow, and it scales off shadow damage, so that's why you put shadow damage on your gloves to get that increased heal. There's rumors going around that having shadow damage as well increases its proc chance, but I don't know if that's accurate or not. But it increases the heal at least, so you get plus 20 heal every time. And it also increases the damage of it, so it's plus 20 damage. And 100% spell scaling, so again, now I'm sitting on 521 holy damage, and it heals 35, and then plus 20, so that's almost 600 heals. That's practically a random flash of light that also deals the same damage of a holy shock on the enemy that you're playing against. So Skull Flame always. The only time you ever want to use something else is you want to use this, I don't know, how do you say that? Thermazone Touch. You swap to this when you're about to do your burst. So when you use Hodge and you do the burst, you switch to this just for that, and then you switch back to your Skull Flame. Yeah, basically that's it. This build is extremely amazing, even in the latest classic version, if you use consumables. If you can use Dragon Chili and Shadow Oil, they scale with spell power. And then if you use your Zulian and you use like the full spell power set and you get some decent procs, you can do absolutely insane damage. Like you do the damage of like a mage or like a full biz warrior, getting crits on all strikes. It's also nice to have that guaranteed Holy Shock or guaranteed self-heal with Divine Favor. Since your HP is so low, it's basically like an extra lay of hands. This build is weakest against rogues. Rogues are very hard. I would say mage is a little bit easier compared to if you would play like Reckoning, because you have so many self-heals. You have a bit more range, you can disturb their like cast speed and stuff like that. But priests are extremely hard. Like priest is almost impossible to beat. So I would say avoid priests. Try to avoid rogues. Warriors are super easy. Hunters are... depends on the hunter, but I would say it's usually pretty easy as well. Warlock is also pretty easy. And yeah, that's it. I'm gonna show some clips, some PvP clips. Anyway, hope you all enjoy. These are also not some top tier clips. This is just from today, just to show how it works. Now when we're done talking about all the stuffs, you know, the specs and all that, I figured I'd show some gameplay and how useful you are as a Shockadin. And I'm gonna talk a bit about the clips. And after all that, I'm gonna let them all roll once more for people who just wanna watch them in full screen. Anyway, let me start out with these clips here, just showing the damage potential. So here we see this mage. This mage doesn't have that good gear, but honestly this is holy and magical damage, most of it, and there are basically almost no resistances to it, especially holy damage. People who don't know, there is no resistance school to holy damage in classic World of Warcraft, so if a holy attack hits you, it will do its designated damage every single time. So your commander and Holy Shock always does the same damage. The thing people can mitigate is like your auto attack damage, or if you're using shard and people use fire resistance, then it will mitigate the damage from your shard. But and sapper charges too. Sapper charges can have damage mitigation, but basically you're more or less always guaranteed to do this kind of damage. So here you see, boom, whittle the enemy down to like half HP, depending on how many resources you use. And then you click, for me it's number 2, and instantly half HP gone. You do like always at least 2000 damage. You see none of my attacks here critted, and it's one auto attack followed up by judging commander and the guaranteed Holy Shock, and then you have shard as well. Same here. This is on a Paladin. It's a pretty good Paladin, but this is just a damage test. He's sitting on around between 5 to 6k HP, full biz, and just look at this. Half HP gone instantly. He's full. This is one button. Boom. And I'm using basically tier 2 gear and blue gear, and the only good things I have are like is like I got about 30 more spell power than anyone who is new to the game. The only thing I'm using that's hard to get for a beginner is Shard, but you would do the same damage if you would replace Shard with a Sapper Charge instead. I'm not using any Sapper Charges in this video, so imagine with a Sapper Charge the damage would be even more, but still, on a plate target with a lot of HP, all of that gone basically instantly. Alright, let's see that again. Here is an actual duel with a warrior, and whittle him down to half, into execution range. He fears me, tries to charge, I bop myself, and he survived. And you just wait and he's dead. So yeah, you get pretty good damage for being like... Shockadin is technically like a healer support, but you still have decent damage. So let's go into some longer battles here. So I ambushed this mage in Winter Spring as he's about to top off. In this fight, I'm trying not to use my bubble because I saw a rogue before and I figured he's gonna ambush me. So I'm trying my best to save the bubble, and it's gonna be a mistake I do, but it's still a pretty good clip. So let's see here. He plays decently, he's trying to poly me. The poly goes off, I got in a good amount of chip damage. I'm polyed, you know, mages, they poly and run away. He fireballs me, but he max distanced himself, so I'm just running away. And he needs to blink to catch me now. He blinks and silences. I sidestep it, but I did it too late. I try to outstep his frostbolt just enough to get the heals in. I need to wait to get the silence away. I get the nade. I try to push him here. I use the Hodge, he blinks it. He tries to poly. I evaded the poly. He using the frost stuff. You see, I'm considering bubbling, but I don't. I figure like the rogue might attack me. I don't want to risk it. And here suddenly my HP... Oh shit. I didn't mean to take it all back. Sorry. Let's see here. Here my HP is dropping very low. And he frosts me. I'm waiting for my freedom. He keeps trying to burst me down. He knows he has to burst me down here. And he got a very good hit. So I'm on 200 HP. I panic. And I use my global cooldown. I try to burst him down. He survives with 1 HP. And I die. If I bubbled before I did that, I would have gotten him. But, you know, it is what it is. And in this fight, you can also see I'm using... I'm not using my Skull Flame. For all of it, I think. Or no, I was using my Skull Flame here. I should have switched to the spell power offhand, because my Skull Flame didn't do anything here. I think maybe if I used the offhand spell power item, I would have actually won this fight, even despite being unlucky. But yeah, let's move on. So this is a duel against a full Biz warrior who has basically everything. Really good gear and plays well too. I get off some lucky hits. He has a ton of HP, probably like 6k I think, or around there. So I use my Holy Shock early. I need to really whittle him down. He's not able to heal himself. So I'm just healing in between a lot of attacks. I can heal myself a lot since Shockadin is kinda a healer. He interrupts me well. I get desperately low. I have to CC him and heal myself. He trinkets it and it forces me to bop myself, which is not a good position to be in. But my goal here is just to get him to half HP. That's all I'm trying to do. Just trying to get him to half HP. He runs away and bandages. I'm trying to stop it. I didn't stop it in time. I freed him myself because he slowed me. I use a rank 1 consecration to scare him, to force him to move more. And then I heal myself a bit here and there. His HP is getting close to the threshold. I still got all my cooldowns. If you see here, next to my commander icon, I have the thing glowing. That means that I have my one button burst, and it's ready. I still don't have any sappers. I would have used it now if I had a sapper, so I'm waiting a little bit more. Just a little bit more. My HP is looking good. I'm waiting for my stun now. I'm waiting for my Hand of Justice to get the bonus damage on the CC target. So I'm just trying to out-heal him here. I probably could have wiggled him down slowly, but I wanted to do the burst. And so there is the CC, there comes the combo, and it also crits, and he is completely deleted there. You can see that is almost about a total of like, what is it, almost 3000 damage we do here, all in all, in that one auto and everything. Yeah, it was a bit overkill. I could have still had if he survived with a little bit, you have Hammer of Justice too after all that, so there's no way to survive. This is against the Paladin. I didn't have bubble, so we agreed on no bubble. Alright, he debuffs me, but it's pointless against Paladin, you just cleanse yourself. We both put consecrations down. He's using max ranks, I think. I wasn't paying attention. He's also Shockadin, so it's a Shockadin standoff. He's using the little better gear. Tier 2.5 is better than tier 2, but I'm gonna showcase that later. Again, it's the same thing. You just heal yourself and try to whittle their HP down. It's a bit harder against Paladin because it's such a durability fight. It usually fights take a long ass time. He's using max consecrations, and I'm just going out of it. He blocks a few strikes. I do almost no auto attack damage, and I CC him when I think it's enough, and it just is enough. And since we agree on no bubble, he's just dead to the Hammer of Wrath. Alright, now I'm gonna display some moments in Battlegrounds. So basically, we arrive into any fight, you're instantly gonna be useful. You see, you put heals on your teammates, heal that mage up, look around where you can help, and you can still use your Holy Shock to execute targets and get those kills just for the bragging rights, you know, when you open up the tab and your name is at the top. You can do that with Shockadin. It's not that hard to do. And you just make sure everyone is topped off and ready to get into next fight. So it's pretty useful in that regard. Now here we have a big standoff, and everyone's on this bridge and everyone's holding. So you can just stand here and heal in the back, and when you have your bubble here, the moment you have your bubble, you put on the damage offhand, like I do here, and you might try to throw in a nade to try to see if they have a blink or not, if it's a mage. No one's blinking, you just run in, one-shot the target, cause some disruption. Now everyone here not everyone, but most people here will focus on you, the Paladin, who just ran into everyone. Look how everyone is backing up. Everyone's running away. They're like terrified because like the crazy guy is immortal, ran in and killed one of us. And then when it's about to expire, you just, like you see, I just back out and go back to supporting my team. Let's see here, another clip. This is me going Rambo, just jumping down on that dude. We need to get this point back, so I decided to jump in. There's a warrior there and everyone's focusing me. I bubble and I'm instantly able to top myself off, and then I focus on helping the warrior. I can try to heal him as much as possible. I try to go in to help. Consecration, we killed him. The hunter is there. We can CC, we can heal, we have decent burst. And look, we just killed everyone there. And we get a bit swarmed and eventually we die, but we were keeping them there. We killed like 3 people and keeping like 10 people there at the graveyard. So yeah, that's kind of how useful you can be. I'm just gonna show this as well. People wondering about how good is actually the Zulian one-hander. So here I'm bullying this low level, because why not? You know, it's 3 kills. So I'm just attacking him, not expecting much. I don't see anyone else. He's running up to his friends. I decide he's getting too close to his friends. I CC him. I attack. I use my CCs. And now a warrior charges me. and I really want to kill him first. I get him. Now there's there's a warrior in tier 2.5. He has a decent weapon. He's probably about equally as scared as me right now. But he caught me off guard. I don't have my burst, but I have my Zulian, and I have my big heal, my guaranteed crit heal. Now that is something that can happen since you have no hit. Many of your auto attacks will miss, and sometimes your spells will miss too. Now there we got a big crit on him. We're not bursting him this time because we don't have all the cooldowns. We just need to kill him. And we're just critting him like crazy. And he did. And then right after that comes another dude. We have to bubble. We use bandage and we use some flash of lights. We have almost no mana. It's looking pretty dire. I put the mana debuff on him. He has pretty weak weapons, so I think we can beat him here. And we're trying to keep him in front of us so we can block. And to increase our... well, yeah, it increases your block chance when the target is in front of you. So we just want to block and mitigate damage. Every once in a while we regain mana. And we're just waiting. So far, I think we've only had one Zulian proc. People wondering how often it procs. This is how rare it is. But there we got it. Wait. There. You can see that 483. That's from the Zulian. And I don't have that much spell power. If you have more, you can easily get up to 500 spell power with the... Not easily, but you can get up to 500 spell power with the Zulian one-hander. And if you use consumes and then you pop your trinket, that almost 500 would have been closer to 1000. And it can crit as well for double the damage. So just think about that. But it can proc like that. It's pretty good. And you see I killed basically two pretty good equally geared warriors to me on one life. Without having like my burst ready as well. Anyway, those are the clips. That's how you can more or less perform pretty well as Shockadin in like this lower tier gear. It's pretty fun overall. I had fun, even though it's not my main cup of tea anymore. You can still do pretty well and be useful, and you will be invited to pre-made battlegrounds. And yeah, anyway, I'm gonna let this clip all play in full screen with some music, and let me all know if you like this video, and I'll see you in the next one.